have been spending all morning researching WNBA salaries so you don't have to. And I hate to break it to you, but not only do WNBA players deserve more money, they're going to make more money. And the people who are, well, it's a charity league, well, they lose $50 million a year, are going to be very upset because it's going to happen. Before I get started, let me tell you all of the arguments against WNBA players deserving more money. Number one, they lost $50 million last year. People love that one. Number two, it's a poverty league. I mean, the NBA is literally paying for them to exist. And number three, no one cares about the WNBA, no one watches, and they should just go ahead and lower the rims so that people start watching the sport. The WNBA loses $50 million every year. How can the players deserve more money when the league doesn't even have any money? Yes, the WNBA reportedly lost $50 million last year, and that's because they had a shitty media rights deal, and that's where the league was at the time. However, now that the league has grown and they renegotiated their media rights deal, that number is quickly about to change. Not only that, with the $50 million loss, the WNBA is not a failing business. They throw that scary number at you to throw you off and think they're not making any money. No. The WNBA is a high growth startup, okay? Think every tech startup. If it's hard to think about, women playing basketball, every tech startup starts off operating at a loss. But do you think that stops them from paying their engineers what they're worth? No, because the engineers building that technology are the asset. People are throwing around short-term operation losses as if it makes the WNBA a failing business when that is simply not true. The NBA operated at a loss for over 30 years.
And the thing about the NBA operating at a loss for over 30 years is that all of the players had jobs after the season was over. That's where you get the whole narrative where guys was plumbers, or they say that, Wilt Chamberlain was playing against plumbers and all of these other things, is because they weren't paid and they didn't increase their pay until the league became profitable. That's when you started to see them. They were only superstars to the people. And they weren't even superstars until the Magic and Bird era, when they really started to blow up the league. And then it was after Magic and Bird that you started to see players really start to make a whole lot of money in the millions of dollars, and so on and so forth. And so when she says it's a high growth, high startup league, that is a very, very, very speculative term, because you have to understand that even in these startup ventures, a lot of times what happens is the engineers make much, much less than if you was to go over to Google, or you was to go over to Tesla, or you was to go over to another company, because what they did was they banked on the league and they took equity into the company. So if the company failed, then they failed too. If the company didn't make money, they didn't make money either.